Good morning, this is Ron Nestler. I'm here to introduce my wife, Suzanne Nestler, my daughter, Honey Sue Newby, and Dr. Caroline Hines. Honey Sue is a level 3 Agent Orange child receiving care through the VA Spina Bifida program. We have encountered a lot of problems getting the care under 38 U.S. 1803, and we're hoping that this video will address that problem for us. Dr. Hines is going to be interviewing my wife, Suzanne, and my daughter, Honey Sue, and just talking in a relaxed manner about some of the challenges that we face in getting care for Honey Sue. Thank you. Dr. Hines?
Good morning. I'm going to talk to you a little bit, Sue, about Honey Sue's disabilities and her earlier life, and then I'm going to ask Honey Sue a few questions. Can you tell me a little bit about the circumstances surrounding her birth and your discovery of her disability regarding the spina bifida?
Yes, when I carried her, she didn't move, and I was concerned that I didn't have much movement. And when she was born, they told me that there were some problems, and that she was somewhat jaundiced. She had deformed feet. Her feet didn't form properly, and she had a small cranium size. Her head was smaller than normal. And that was the only thing that they had imparted to me, and as I went, I had to seek help through Shriners and Elks and different agencies to help correct a lot of it.
Now tell me a little bit about her early developmental milestones. When did she start to walk and talk?
Well, she really didn't walk very well till she was 9 years old. They put her through therapy. Elks put her through therapy to teach her to go to the bathroom. They tied her in a chair. They worked with her to get her hands to work. She would, when she was tried to get up and walk, her hands would go every which way, her feet would go every which way. And she'd go right to a wall, and the only time she stopped from hitting the wall is when she got right next to it. And I thought that she couldn't control it, but what it was is she wasn't able to see. They didn't find this out
So it was
until
a
she was
visual
18.
problem.
Yeah, she couldn't see either. And we didn't know that because we couldn't properly test.
What about her speech?
Her speech wasn't good at all. She had a tied tongue. They weren't going to do a thing about it. I had to go to a private doctor, and they laughed. They said that, oh, the nurse needs a new outfit or something, and we'll go ahead and do the procedure. And they clipped her tongue. But she couldn't talk. Her tongue was like this. She couldn't form words either, even if she could talk. But she wasn't talking by then.
When did she start speech therapy?
I don't recall. I do know that it was when they
So it was
started
during
speech. It
early
was
childhood?
Yeah, Elks and Shriners did it.
Okay. When
And
did
then
she have her
school.
last speech therapy?
God, it was like when she was 18.
Okay. So she's not had speech
No.
therapy for a long
No,
time.
no. I can't access it.
Now, what percentage of her speech do you understand? She is about 60% intelligible to me, and I have known Honey Sue for about 3 or 4 years. Can you understand all of her speech at this
No.
point?
No, I can't.
What would you say the percentage
I would
was?
have to. The percentages. It depends on how she's feeling. If she's having
Tired is worse.
seizures, tired. If she's ill, I don't know when she's ill because she starts pantomiming. She doesn't say she's ill, she acts out, and you have to guess. You have to figure it out. And you can ask her questions, and she'll answer what she thinks you want to hear, and then you're not sure what she says. And so, basically, if she's hungry, she can voice that. If she wants to go somewhere, she voices that. Those are clear, but when it comes to medical issues, it's very difficult.
Now, I know that one of the problems that spina bifida patients have is that sometimes they have trouble with control of bowel and bladder.
Oh, God.
And I know that that's been a tremendous problem in the past. Is that still a problem in any way today?
Yes, she's always had it. The Shriners helped me with that somewhat. But she wears Depends. She has to always have them because we never know when she's going to lose control. Usually bladder is one of the major, but the other one is, she'll go, but she needs depends. And she needs them at night, and she needs them around that time of the month. I don't want to embash their mixed company. So she has to have one every day. One every day. And I cannot access Depends through the VA because they gave me such a hard time. So I just go down and purchase them.
Now, regarding her cognitive functioning, just from talking to Honey Sue, I get the idea that she is perhaps in the borderline level of intellectual functioning. But then I know that in some areas she's better, and some areas she's worse. When you had her IQ tested, what did they find? And when was that done?
That was done in the Elks. They did a 2-week diagnostic workup and kept her for 2 weeks and ran brain scans and all kinds of things on her to see how far she could develop. They wanted to see how far she could go. They told me she'd never be an adult. She was borderline intelligence, borderline. She cannot tell time. She very, very limited in her writing. It's very juvenile.
Yes, and I have noticed that. I'll clarify for the viewer that intelligence generally runs 100 is the average, and from 90 to 110 is in that average range. The range below that is low average, and that's from 80 to 89. And below that is the borderline, which is 70 to 79. Now, I've been told that her IQ is actually 98 tested. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is? I thought it was 69.
I can't think that it would be 98.
I thought it was, I thought it was.
60, yes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
69 is where it was, she was
69,
to
which
69.
would be 1 point away from the borderline range.
Mhm.
But she has some savant characteristics as well.
Mhm.
What I've noticed from Honey Sue is that she is very, very able to establish, for example, a family timeline where she tells who's related to whom and how they are related to her. And she can do that for, she can go on for quite some time about that sort of thing. But practically speaking, there are many things she cannot do. Honey Sue, when you go to the library, what types of things do you check out to read?
I usually get magazines and books on nature and take care of pets and stuff like that.
Now, I know you have a computer program that you play some games on.
Yes.
What kind of games do you play on there?
Slot.
Okay. And so these would be games that we would normally play with probably an 8 to 10-year-old, maybe a little bit lower.
She just pushes buttons,
Yeah, basically she is pushing buttons. She does not really understand the logic behind the computer game. But she enjoys it largely because of the sound, the color, and the pictures changing. Now, during your everyday life, what are some things that you might do on a typical day?
Go get my paper.
And that would entail doing what, walking downtown?
Yes.
Okay, and they know you there where you purchase your paper?
Yes.
Okay,
2 blocks away. It says 2 blocks.
okay. So you go get your paper. What else do you do during the day?
I come home, eat breakfast, make my bed, but I do that first. And comb my hair.
Now, are there any chores that you're regularly assigned to do around the house?
Cat.
What do you mean, cats?
The cats. The care and feeding of the cats.
Okay, what does that involve, though?
Getting the food,
Do they eat dry food or wet food?
dry food.
Okay. And what else do you do to take care of the cats?
I give them fresh water.
Okay.
brush
Do you
them.
change their litter box?
Yeah.
No.
No, he doesn't.
Okay. It's noted that there's a family friend in the room who does some care around the house.
Yes.
All right. Now, so you don't do anything like laundry or cooking or any of those things?
Laundry. I used to do laundry, but I fold laundry.
Okay, you fold laundry. Okay. Do you take your medications on your own? Or does your mother give them to you?
I take them on my own.
So you go get the pills out of the pill boxes?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
There are times that she may have accessed them, but I have to verify them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Like
she
my-
can
my
go get
bag's
them,
out.
but you
Yeah,
would say,
my
bring
bag-
them to
yeah,
me and let
my
me see
bag
them.
would be out. She might have to get them,
Okay.
but she
Okay.
takes them herself.
Now, what are some things that you enjoy doing, Honey Sue? What are some
Um,
things that you like? I know you went on a trip last summer, is that right?
yes. Oh, you mean when I went to, Germany?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was great. It was a trip of a lifetime.
Did you get scared at any point during that?
No. Mm-mm.
Do you think you could make a trip like that on your own
Mm,
without your mother there or anyone else? That'd be pretty hard to do, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, that would be really hard to do.
yeah.
Well, it looks like the cats really do appreciate that feeding and care that you give
Yeah.
them. Do you watch television or movies? Can you watch a movie all the way through?
Yes. Although Mom falls asleep.
Now, what kind of movies do you generally watch?
Um, G to PG.
Okay. G to PG.
Yeah, no,
Okay. Now, it's my understanding that Honey Sue was exposed in utero to Agent Orange. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what we're looking at here is the result of that exposure
Yes.
Could I,
by her father.
I was gonna say, I need
Yes.
to comment, not actually in utero, she was, her birth father, I'm her stepfather, but her birth father served 4 tours in Vietnam where he was exposed
Yes,
to,
I didn't make that clear.
to
That's-
AO before she was conceived.
Okay,
4 13-month tours as a Marine rifleman in combat in Vietnam.
and we're just now starting to find out the effects of Agent Orange, not only on the person who was exposed, but on offspring from,
The VA
from
compensates
those
the
folks.
offspring of the
Yeah,
of the
and
Vietnam veterans
They
who were
also are
exposed.
now learning that if she had had any children, the chances were very high that she would also have the same.
So this is something,
Yes.
this is something that affects the genes so
If
that it can be
valuable, it
passed
stays
on.
in, yes.
Okay, all right. And what kind of care do you wish that she had access to? What would you like to see her doing that she's unable to do?
I believe she
Yeah.
needs physical therapy because hand her something. She has her hand just hand her something. See the hand? Did you get that, Britton? Her hand, she has trouble, and
Yeah,
she
can you
ends
hand it
up
back to me?
doing eventually. Now I don't know which one is the worst hand anymore. I don't know because she's always having trouble.
Show me how you grip the pen when you start to write something.
like
Okay,
that.
so we're seeing a very modified tripod grip that results in kind of a scrawl.
Try both hands out. See this? Yeah, she's doing. No, you're not doing anything wrong, honey. You're fine. We just want
Yeah.
to.
Give me the pen.
See, did you get that, Britton?
Hold both your hands
Put
straight
both
up.
hands out and try to do something with that hand. Yeah, this one. Okay, Yeah, she's doing it now. But that's why she needs therapy. He's caught somewhere.
Some
it's-
abilities come and go.
Like if she gets a cup, she'll grab it and go and break the cup. So we have to make sure the cups
because
are.
that's a spasm.
Yes, it's a spasm. And sometimes, especially once a month, it gets pronounced. And
Around the time of her menstrual period.
right. And she'll start doing, this hand does not work. It goes into fetal position, and then she starts more tremoring.
Okay.
And she needs physical therapy. I work on it as much as possible with the videos, with doing her slot machines, because she has to take that cursor and she's got to get it just right to push that button.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually has helped a lot. And I've been doing that on my own to get her to do that. Folding clothes helped the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But she needs her muscles worked properly. They're getting weak.
Yeah, and I used to cook, but I can't cook.
She's not capable of cooking anymore because her hands won't let her crack an egg. She can't hold anything and work around fire because it jerks, and so it's very dangerous, and she gets burned. And
So she is a danger to her, not
Yeah.
only herself but others as
right. And we do allow sandwiches, but I'll come in and there's jam on the wall and jam on the floor and bread that falls, and we have to clean it up. You don't do bad. I'm not
well.
saying
She
you do
typically
anything
does not
bad.
even notice that these things are happening.
No,
because
no,
she
no.
cannot focus on
Like-
more than, she's not a multitasker.
No, jam
So
on the
she can-
computer.
yeah. Yeah.
But and like I explained to it's a daily ritual that I have to talk her through everything each day. It's the same thing every day. She'll forget that there's a place that you've got to step over, like in the cement or walking around. We made sure we found a path to go to the store that it was clear, that she had a straight shot. If she's really shaky, she takes a cane because she needs support. But
Yeah.
her muscles are starting to go. She
How old
really
is Honey Sue
needs,
right now?
she's 41.
Okay.
And she really needs to do isometrics. She needs to build, see how she's starting to have a lot of problems with her shoulders. And she starts shaking more, and I think it's due to the muscles becoming weak.
Mhm.
She doesn't like to do it for Mom. She's sick of me, I don't blame her. But she
Yeah.
will do it for a therapist. I've had her on my own for a couple weeks. They won't let you access it more than a couple weeks. And she will work for them, but 2 weeks isn't gonna get it. And she
Right.
won't do it
She
for
does
me.
need ongoing therapy. And
Yes,
possibly aqua therapy would be
yes,
a good
yes.
modality
Oh,
for
she-
her too. I'm
yes.
not a physical therapist.
And I
but
wish I
know
could
some
have
of the
showed,
things that
I
have
wish
been
I could have
used.
showed her feet. Her feet are size 2.5 and 3. Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and take your shoes off, honey.
Okay.
Now, it's noted that Honey Sue has tied her own shoes, but they are not tied in a conventional way.
Yeah, they're not. Now, this is your small foot?
Yeah.
This is her small,
Oh, wait.
I don't even know anymore. This is your smallest foot.
Yeah.
You still got your pumpkin on your
I got
toe
it.
from your, well, honey Sue, there.
Snake.
Okay, now this is her smallest foot. Put it down. I can have my big old claw hoppers out there. See, right here is
One is
where they.
obviously smaller than
Yeah.
the other.
This one is where they did the surgery. This was not a working foot. This foot was up here, and this one just flopped. So this foot was up here.
Does she
and-
still have foot drop with this foot?
This one does okay. This one doesn't. This one just goes. It only flexes to here. It doesn't go all the way like a normal foot.
Okay.
But it does function so she can walk. But this is a size 2.5 foot. Her toes, if you look at her toes were made. They went ahead and did pins all the way across it and kept them in pins to make her toes. They're kind of not formed.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that.
Yes.
This one was formed a little
This
bit
looks
better.
much more normal.
Yes.
Normal as
But
far
this
as
heel
formation.
flops over. This is a loose, floppy heel.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's not a formed. And then this was all tendons were cut up here to bring the foot down. So this
Yeah, the
was,
stars right
Yeah.
there.
and the leg is very, very small. Put your foot down. See, hold that for me, honey.
Okay.
And see now, this one is a more formed,
Yes.
a little bit more
The
formed.
musculature is a lot
Mhm.
better over
And that's
here
why
than
we
it
need
is
the
here.
therapy. We need to get this to keep her walking.
And can we note here that the corrective surgery to her feet was done by the Elks Foundation, I
Yes.
believe, not the VA?
No, the VA did not do that. The Elks did it. I had to access my care through charitable organizations.
So a lot of your time has been taken up with finding resources.
Right, right. I have done it all myself, all myself. The only thing that was done as far as correcting anything through the VA, they did put her in casts when she was a baby. They casted her foot. I brought her home from the hospital in casts. And I had to
That
soak them
sounds
off.
like a lot of trauma too.
I had to
Caring for a baby with a foot in a cast.
Yeah,
and,
I had to
and
s-
all of her other disabilities.
I had to soak them off every week. You could not leave her alone. You had to soak her in a tub on the sink. I had three other children. I could not leave her. She would slip down in there. If I stopped the process, it would harden and I'd have to have it cut off or chipped off. And so I had to get my one son into Head Start because he knew he could take off during that time.
Uh-huh.
And so I got him into Head Start. But it was difficult, yes. I thought you wanted to say something. It was time consuming. I had no time for anything else.
So what I'm saying to summarize is that we have an underserved person here whom you and your husband have worked at finding therapies. But at this point, you need help from the VA to access the funds that have been allocated for Agent Orange
Let
children.
me comment there that 38 U.S. 1803 provides for habilitative and rehabilitative care for Honey Sue.
And she
And
needs
it
both.
specifically states that its intention is to bring her up to near as normal functioning as possible. But in years of applying for that care from the VA, we're unable to get them to provide it. They claim, well, I don't know what they claim. When they answer us, they say that they're not able to provide domiciliary care, which is not at all what we're asking. But she clearly
Honey
needs
Sue,
habilitative and rehabilitative
missed
care.
your heel there. It's on the, here we go, on the bottom.
Yeah, well, we always have to.
Okay, there you go.
Can anyone think of anything here that we've missed that maybe we should have covered? I think we've done a pretty
Well,
good job.
at end of life, we're not always going to be here, and I need somebody that I can take time to train with her condition. This is a very unusual condition. Not very many people are familiar with it. They don't know how to work with it, and I need to get it to where I can train them. So if I can't do it anymore, they can do it because her medication is very key to her survival.
Let me add about that. Public Law 110-387 that was passed and signed into law in 2008, I know the legislators who crafted it, and I know that it was intended to actually provide ongoing home care for Honey Sue and the other Agent Orange children. I think in total there are 800 or 900 children like Honey Sue. But that's never, besides 38-1803, US 38-1803, Public Law 387 has never been fully implemented either. And here's the position we're in. If Honey Sue's mother and I were to perish today in a car wreck or through any manner, Honey Sue's on her own. There's nobody to step in. And in our minds, once the VA accepted responsibility for her condition being the result of Agent Orange, then they also have the responsibility to help us deal with the question of what happens to her when her mom and I are not here to take care of her any longer.
And I don't think it would be quite appropriate for her to be placed in a regular nursing home.
No.
That would not.
She can't go to a
She
regular,
parents.
in our state and most other states, she is not accepted into nursing homes because she is developmentally disabled.
Right.
That's a
Right.
trap we fall into. The VA is willing to pay for nursing home care, but nursing homes here in Indiana won't take her because she has developmental disabilities.
They'll
And that would
stick
be
her
a
in
disservice to
If
her
they
as
do,
well.
they stick her in an Alzheimer's unit because they want it locked down.
Yeah.
And so she starts
Yes.
parroting the Alzheimer's.
Yeah, we can get her in, we can,
For
not for
temper-
long-term care, but for respite care. We've had her in a nursing home before. It is absolutely not the setting that she needs to be in. First of all, it's very emotionally distressing for her because people are dying around her every day. And secondly, she does parrot. They put her in the Alzheimer's unit when she goes in there because she does tend to wander away. And she comes home from the 3 or 4 days in the nursing home of respite care parroting Alzheimer's behavior, and it takes us months
Yeah.
to get her back to normal. I think, does anyone else have anything else? Or-
There's oh.
Honey Sue, yes, you.
After I get the newspaper, I have my breakfast. I read paper on the gazebo. My mom usually has a snack out for me. Yeah, and then I eat breakfast. I pick greens and stuff for the garden before breakfast.
Okay, so that's another example of how she can become focused on one thing, and to
Honey
the
Sue,
exclusion of perhaps things that,
more
Yeah.
pertinent to the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
But,
It's
but
from
the
the 9-year-old.
Honey Sue's point there is that she and I are gardening partners, and I think
Yes.
that should not be
But
lost
she
on
doesn't
anybody.
her
We are
thinking,
gardening.
her ideas do not culminate in her brain as an adult would. And that's the way that, you're doing great.
Okay.
We're just showing how the processes work.
Yeah, and then I sometimes I make my lunch, and then I do nuts. I crack the nuts. I take my book on the gazebo.
You shell nuts, honey. They're
Shell.
already cracked.
Yeah, I shell nuts.
Yeah.
Honey Sue, you're
Okay.
a great kid. You did wonderful.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Shut her up.
We're done, Britt.
I waiting for the thing to do the.
How many
Clear.
minutes did we get?
I wish it would tell me. I know we went through half a battery doing that.
Oh, that's okay, as long as we didn't run out of time. You're not still filming, are you?
Oh, I'm hitting the photo button.